My dear brothers and sisters, in chapter 3 of Mark's Gospel, we hear of Jesus appointing the 12. So he calls the 12 to himself, and he made them maybe somehow like his disciples or his students or his apprentices. And now we hear in the beginning of chapter 6 that he has given them authority over unclean spirits. In fact, he's sharing his divinity with them, the power that he was given by the Father when he was coming into this world, the power that he has as God, he is now sharing with his disciples. He gives them authority over unclean spirits. And at the end of the gospel, at the resurrection, after he appeared to them and he commissions them, and he said to them in Mark chapter 16, from verse 16, he says that those who believe and are baptized will be saved. And he said, these are the signs that are going to follow those who believe. They will cast out demons. They will speak in strange languages. They will, even when they step on serpents and they drink poisonous substances, they will remain unharmed. Again, they will place their hands on the sick, and the sick will be well. And this is what we hear also at the end of the gospel today, that the apostles went out and they anointed many with oil, and as many were anointed, received healing. So Jesus shares his ministry with his apostles. He shares his divine power with his apostles, and he gave them this authority to cast out demons, but also to bring healing. Now, when we think of casting out demons, we always think first of all about the exorcist, these people who have been given authority to be able to do this as a ministry. But let us not forget that at the end of the gospel, Jesus says, not only the exorcists, but also those who are baptized, all of us by virtue of our baptism, can cast out demons. When we also think of demons, we are thinking of some strange evil spirits with ugly faces that are crying out and possessing people. That is not just the demon, it's true that you could imagine that. But there are many evil manipulations that we find all around. In fact, in our world today, unclean spirits are showing their ugly face. They are not even afraid to show their ugly faces now. We find evil all everywhere surrounding us, right from the big possessions right down to the little addictions that we have. All of that, like I said a few days ago, are sparks of the evil that surrounds us, the unclean spirits that surround us. Even when we decide to lie, when we decide to sin, when we speak evil about others, those are sparks of evil, unclean spirits that are manifesting. And we have authority to be able to stand against that. We have authority to pronounce and cast out demons from our families, from our homes. You have authority to pray and declare and command evil to leave your home, to leave your family, to leave your children, and command and ask the blessings of God, the light of Christ, to replace that darkness. This is the authority that we are given, not only as priests, not only as exorcists, but as baptized Christians. We have that authority to be able to shield evil from manifesting itself in our lives and in the lives of our families. Secondly, that we find in this gospel is the amazing poverty that the apostles have to face. They are sent out and they are told not to take anything with them. When you try to imagine that and put that in the world that we have today, it's almost an impossible thing to do. I was thinking recently when I went to apply for my visa, one of the conditions is that you have to have money in order to travel. They will ask you for your bank account. You have to ask you for your bank statements. And you have to produce that in order to travel. So it's almost an impossible thing to move without money. In fact, if you leave your home and you're going, let's say, to Antique, and you forget your wallet, you're going out just for a day, not for months, just for a day, and you forget your wallet, it's like you've forgotten yourself. And at times you have to go back to pick that up. When you are traveling, when you want to go even to a small place, you want to check if your ATM is there, If you have your money enough, and if you have those, then you are ready to go. But if you don't have any of those, then you cannot risk going for that journey. But this is basically how Jesus sends his apostles. He said to them, take nothing with you. Don't take any extra money. And you can see the faith with which they went out, with complete dependence on divine providence, that God is going to provide for them every step of the way. And we have people in the world today who still practice that, who live a life of complete poverty. They depend on nothing, they depend on what they receive. I think even our sisters still practice that today. That they depend on what they receive. Whatever thing they receive, to God be the glory. If they do not receive, okay, we leave it to God. But God has never failed. God always provides for his people. God has his way of reaching out to his people. And if only we can risk, it's very difficult myself. I don't know how I can survive without money or without all these things around me. But if only we can depend on God, we could be more free. We could live a more happy life and a more fulfilled life if we do not have all these things surrounding us. And all these things is because we doubt that God is going to really give us. If I'm sent now to go to Sudan now, for instance, and I have to go to this place, how ready am I to go without anything, depending that God is going to give me whatever thing I need? And this is the courage, this is the faith with which the apostles went out, with complete surrender, with complete dependence on God. At times we have enough, but we still want more. We still want God to give us more in order for us to say that he's there. My dear brothers and sisters, Jesus promised his apostles that he will provide for them. And he said to them, when you arrive in one house, stay there. Because the tendency is that when you go to one place, then you find a better life, you want to transfer and go to that place. And it happens a lot for us priests. We get settled in a parish, and then we want a better parish where you find a more comfortable life. And even if you go to that one, you find another one where you find a more comfortable life. You want to transfer to that one. Or you want to have friends who are going to feed you, who are going to give you everything, and you just keep moving and moving. Jesus says, no. Once you arrive, settle in one house and eat whatever is set before you. Whatever thing he provides, you must be able to depend on that. My dear brothers and sisters, the gospel today reminds us of the authority that we have been given over unclean spirits. But it also reminds us and exhorts us to be able to depend on God at all times, knowing that he is able to provide for each and every one of us. His name is Jehovah Jireh, El Jireh, the God who provides. So if he provides for us, he is able to provide for us according to his riches in Christ Jesus. Let us continue to depend on God, because he is able to provide for us every step of our journey.